Hello? Okay. So I read through the notices, and I would never forget the mention of let's all have fun. Okay. So let's make this just fun, interesting, I hope. So if you have questions in between, you just please feel free to raise your hand um, to discuss this. Hello? Am I clear? I'm sorry. I think the connection is flat. Am I clear? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, very clear.
All right.
Yes,
So
can hear
we're
you.
now, thank you. So for this first session, I was tasked to introduce the WHO Watch. I am very fortunate to be able to join the recent watch last May in Geneva. And I'd like to tell you my experience. It's my first time. In fact, prior to me, I didn't have any idea of what this WHO watch was. Next slide, please. Okay. So what is a WHO watch? This is actually a project launched by the People's Health Movement. So it's generally an intervention in global health governance. So I suppose everybody understands global health governance, but just in case, it has been defined as the use of formal and informal institutions. It's the use of rules and processes by states, intergovernmental organizations, non-state actors to deal with health challenges that requires cross-border action or collective action. The main purpose when you talk about global health governance is really to contribute in achieving health equity. And I think precisely why we are all here today is because we are all longing for that time when there is, in fact, really health equity. Aside from that, the WHO Watch is a platform wherein the civil society organization, also called non-state actors, are allowed to voice out their stand on important matters inside the WHO. So why do we have to do this? And why do the civil society have to make a stand? It's because the civil society, us in general, wants to make the member states, our country, for example, and all the other member states accountable. Because as we said, health is a basic human right, and everybody has to have that sense of to achieve a certain level of what really or what should the WHO and the member states be doing with respect to health policies. Aside from that, the civil society's voice is there to challenge decisions and actions on health. Not necessarily limited only to your country, but also to challenge the decisions made by member states or all the actors within the WHO. Next slide, please. So, this is a photo taken, I think where? May this year. These were the watchers, some of the watchers. We were not complete in this photo. So who are the watchers, no? The watchers are actually health activists around the world who usually meet for the first time a few weeks before the actual watch. Some of the watchers have been doing the watch for a couple of times, but for some, like for example, in this group where I joined, I think half of us were first time watchers. So prior to that, we had to meet. The PHM briefs us what is expected of us, what do we have to do, why are we even there to do the watch. But more importantly, I think it's the work that is put before the actual watch, that is for us to totally understand the issues, for us to totally go through all the documents that are present and make our certain critique about the issues. Next, please. So what do the watchers do? I think this is really really important. So what do the watchers do? Next slide. So I put in photos. Maybe because for some it's still morning and you're still sleepy, or for some it's late afternoon or early afternoon after lunch. So just more photos to discuss about this thing. So what do we do? From the word itself, it's watching, no? So what do? We watch. We watch the debates that is going on within the World Health Assembly. We listen to what the member states says about certain issues. Okay. Most of the time, we go in the meeting rooms very early to secure a seat, because it's very important that we are able to understand what we are listening at. And to be able to do that, you'll have to find, a perfect place to position yourself. Um, to be able to follow through with everything that is happening on the debates and on the World Health Assembly. Next. So aside from that, as I said, most of the time we are listening. So we follow the debates, we observe, we listen, and we take down notes, we analyze, and we put together everything. I think this is the bulk of the task for the watchers. If you see in the other photo, we're actually listening together with the delegates, together with the member states. But of course, the non-state actors or the civil societies given certain paths would generally be placed somewhere at the back. So you'll have just to find a good position for you. But sometimes you're actually, if you see the photo on the right, actually you're just in another room, a quiet room, a room that's not even filled with people, and you still observe. And how do you do that? Meaning, you can do the watch even when you are not in Geneva. It's not necessary that you actually travel or go there to be able to follow the debates happening within the WHO and within the countries in a global level. So even if we were there, most of the time we were just in a separate room watching the live stream that is being streamed in the WHO website. And while we are watching, we are taking down notes. We are taking down notes and we are trying to understand and analyzing the debates that are happening. So if you ask, I think I saw in the chat group, sorry for that. So I think in the chat group, I saw somebody ask, somebody in the chat group ask, why was the video link not working already? Because it's streamed for a certain period of time. And thus, that is why it is imperative for us to take down notes, to be able to put together the very important aspect of the debates. We cannot always rely on the live stream or the videos posted, since it's not always available. It's not always made available. And sometimes, of course, we understand that there are technical difficulties. That is why we have to come up, or we have to make sure that we have sufficient notes about the debates. When we say, aside from taking down notes, we analyze the positions of the member states, because we have to remember that watching doesn't end in just merely watching. It ends in analyzing the position of the member states. It ends in connecting or linking together what the position of the member state, for example, was within the WHA, and how they bring it back home, on a national level. Next photo, please. Aside from that, And I think Lauren is here. Hi, Lauren. So if you see this pretty woman here in the middle of the photo, so she was an orator during one of the sessions of the World Health Assembly. She was representing, I think, People's Health Movement at the time. So Lauren was reading through a policy statement of the PHM or in behalf of another non-state actor, wherein we are voicing out our specific position on certain issues. So it depends. What is the challenge, by the way, here is that when you are given this chance, like Lauren did, this was a work. This was a result of the work that we put in. That is because we had to analyze, we had to read through all the documents available. We had to analyze them. We had to listen to the statements or positions of the member states. And therefore, we have to come up with very, very short policy statements. And we take note that during the last World Health Assembly, we were, I think, given only like 30 seconds to read a statement. Or so you see the timer here. that's probably the time up to how long you'll be able to read a statement, and it's limited in with respect to the number of words. So you're limited to, let's say, of course, if you're a member state, there's a few more words versus where you are an NSA, where you're limited to speaking very few words. Next, please. Okay. So I think the work of a watcher really is not within the halls of wherever the assembly is. I think the work of the watcher starts or begins the moment they met for the first time a few weeks before the actual watch. Because like what you are doing today, I think you were given prior reading before we met today. So that is exactly what we also did. So we were given prior readings. We had to go through all of them. I know they can be exhausting. It's okay. Just the photo, please. Go back, please.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying. Anyways. Sorry. Yeah, you can keep going. Yeah, you can keep talking. I'll share. It might take time.
So, as I said, what's very important is when you do the work in preparation for doing the actual watch. Here, the bulk of the work is really the critical analysis of the issues. Because when you totally understand what is the issue, then as I mentioned earlier, it's the part of the work is to draft policy statements. You have to draft policy papers, not just a statement, but also policy briefs. This is our chance as non-state actors or a civil society to actually advocate for better options that is inclusive, that is more grounded with reality. We are there, we do the watch because we want to influence the member states and be the voice of the CSOs around the globe. Aside from this, so you see here the photos. These are the watchers who were actually going through a document and discussing their critique about the document. I think that's what we're also going to do as an exercise after this. And then on the picture to the right, wherever you are, you have to do it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a comfortable place. You have to do everything and anything, as long as you can come up with, let's say, the necessary policy statement, the necessary paper, and more importantly, that you're able to analyze and understand, you're able to apply the critical analysis of the issues. Because aside from doing all of this, aside from doing the watch, the civil societies present there also needs to talk to delegates. They also need to reach out to the networks their networks, whether that's from their own country or from other member states, by sending them a copy of the policy statement, by sending them a copy of the policy briefs. This is also our way of supporting smaller delegations who are in need of resources. So aside from doing all the watch, aside from taking down the notes, the watchers actually come up with what they call as the daily briefs. These are like a summary of what happened the day before. So imagine the debates from morning and afternoon and sometimes extended at nighttime. You have to come up with a document on the brief, a summary of whatever thing happened, the position, important positions of the states, among other things. And these briefs we usually submit or share with our networks and with the delegates. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so why do we do, I think this, why do we do what we do? Okay, so there's so much do here in the in the slide. I apologize for that. Okay, so first, because we need to create a connection between the local and global health policies. And how do you do that? There should be a continuous flow of ideas from the grassroots to the WHO. As I said earlier, we provide the option. We provide the option wherein it is grounded upon reality. We also need to link between the national and the global policy because this linkage actually shapes the context of what is happening locally. The global is based on reality. The global should be based on a reality that is faced by the people in the grassroots. Aside from that, so this is where it actually matters. So from whatever it's in the WHO, it should be cascaded and appear to a policy that is grounded on really for the grassroots, for the people. Okay. Aside from that, why do we do what we do? It's because we also have to understand the politics behind. I think there is a PHM discussion paper that discusses about how understanding the politics. I think there's discussion paper about confronting capitalism in the struggle for health. So here we understand the politics that affect how the countries designs their policy, because this discusses why many of the struggles or many of the barriers in achieving health equity is actually brought by capitalism. Next slide, please. Okay. So just to give you an example of what we did and how we connected everything. So during the WHO 77 watch, there were issues about critical global health issues. And you will notice that majority of the statements of member states would depend upon their actual need. So for example, the Philippines, Nigeria, and Jordan actually made mention specifically that one of their critical global health issue is migration and the health workforce. This discusses, or their concerns were how migration affects healthcare system. So for example, in the Philippines, this has been a long-standing problem. It's because we cannot just be competitive with the salaries given by developed countries, for example. Aside from that, what was discussed thoroughly over a heated debate was the issue on conflict, no? So for the PHM, I believe there was a policy statement calling for the immediate ceasefire in Gaza. So it was a heated debate because although many of us might probably think, so what about the conflict? But you see, the conflict has very wide impact on health. So it creates displacement, it creates the issue on famine, it creates issue on hunger, thirst, sanitation, and even mental health. And in these debates, you'll actually understand how member states understand the concept of health for all by including priorities such as issues on conflict. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So finally,
The slide says economics of health for all.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
correct. Thank you. So during the WHA 77, so I'd like to focus on this because this is what I studied thoroughly, at least when I was a watcher. So the issue is economics of health for all. So this is a new concept, a fairly new concept by the WHO, wherein you'll have to understand that there is an interlinkage between health and the economy. But nevertheless, there was a brief report. There was a brief report submitted for consideration of the members. During the debates, many countries actually emphasize the necessity of investment to guarantee a health for all. They stress the collaboration between sectors and the need to address social determinants of health. So, for example, a country like the US questioned the expense of the proposed portfolio, and another country noted the lack of precise information on how states would implement the guidelines. Next slide. So, when we looked into that document, the proposed resolution on economics and health of health for all, PHM actually made a commentary. And part of the commentary was that, so I'm going through this because I believe this is our exercise. This is going to be our exercise after this discussion. So for the PHM commentary, of course, the document is actually, or the principle is actually an excellent idea. However, which, if achieved, would make a difference. But we noted that the agents who will drive the change were not identified, and also their whys and hows. There was also no analysis on the barriers of implementation or how it can be overcome. There was also no explicit analysis of the dynamics between interlinkage of climate change and inequality, and no explicit theory of change. In the said draft resolution, there was also no mention of debt relief and international finance in the reports. And I think what is very important, and if I remember correctly, in the policy brief that we made, the debate on having your own public pharmaceutical is actually missing in the discussions of economics and health for all. Next. So that ends the sharing of my experience as a watcher. If you have questions, please feel free. Maraming salamat po.